Wire, red bark tree. Hello, my needle drops. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. That's not cool. It's time for an album review, but before I get into that, I want to tell you guys on theneedledrop.com there's new music from rapper Fashawn, who just came out with a new track building up to his new mixtape Higher Learning 2. Excited for that. And also, the latest single from the band Paper Cuts, who have a new LP dropping on Sub Pop this year. Check both of those out. Links in the D-Box. And also, recently, the Rocket Out blog impersonated me in one of his videos. Now, Sammy finished off the video by saying, Anthony, your turn. Your turn, Anthony. Sammy, I'm busy. I've put Cal Chuchesta on the job. Basically, he's watching a bunch of your videos right now, and he's going to be impersonating you sometime later this week, so don't worry about it. Don't worry your pretty little head about it. I did get a couple comments on reviewing this new album, although not a lot, but if you know me, and you've been watching this channel for a while, you pretty much saw this review coming. I get a lot of requests for doing classic album reviews, and maybe I will one day on another channel, maybe in a book. Don't know, but the one classic album review I have done has been Wire's Pink Flag. Want a quick review of it? Easy 10. Forever. Seriously, Pink Flag is fantastic in that it blurs the lines between punk rock and art rock, just putting this ballsy attitude up against minimalist simplicity. Once Wire came out with Pink Flag, they started toning down their punk rock influence and really turned up the minimalism, turned up the straightforward rock and pop. I'm talking about Chairs Missing, 154, a lot of the stuff Wire put out in the 90s. And that's kind of where Red Bark Tree hits for me. You can hear it on the unapologetic repetition of many of these songs, and even on the bass line in the track Clay, which sounds a lot like I Am the Fly. And this isn't really surprising. Wire has been trying in a lot of ways to get back to their roots ever since they started releasing their own stuff on the label Pink Flag. And for me, a track like Smash on this album is totally classic Wire, just straightforward downstroked guitars, mid-tempo, simple drum beat. But what makes this track 2011 is that it's got a really slick hook. However, there are points where going back to that original blueprint kind of just doesn't do anything for me on this LP. Like Now Was and the song 2 Minutes, which many of you may know I reviewed last year on this channel, just were underwhelming me a lot. But Wire does surprise me on the track Bad Warren Thing. Even though I'm not a huge fan of the lyrics on this song, the really danceable drum beat, the pumping guitars really just scream indie rock to me. And even though Colin's vocals are completely devoid of any and all cynicism or snarkiness, I'm still enjoying it. For me, the songwriting is a little bit all over the map. I'm loving some tracks, hating some tracks, and I'm on the middle of the road with a lot of them. However, what I'm really kind of set on here is the production, just the sound of this album, which I really don't care for most of the time. You've got these really obnoxious chorus effects on the vocals throughout pretty much the entire album. You know, it's nice to break out the toys every once in a while, you know, just to get a sound, just to get a different texture in a given track, but it is just unforgiving on this album how much chorus effects that are laid on Colin's voice. And the second major thing destroying this entire LP to me is just the compression, whether it's either on the entire song itself or just the guitars. I'm just constantly hearing this saturation, this overmodulation that I'm not used to hearing with Wire. It's not like you guys have never heard music this saturated before. If anything, at some points on this album, Wire comes off sounding a little bit like a shoegaze band with a lot of layers, a lot of texture, a lot of different sounds, guitar sounds flowing throughout the mix. If you're a hardcore Wire fan, I'm sure you're going to see that there are some louder tracks on this album where that compression really works in favor of the band. But it really does kill the dynamics on some of the quieter songs here, depressingly so. I could see some of the songwriting growing on me, but just the sound of this album is making that a tough bridge to cross. Let's say a decent to strong 5 on this thing. even though it's not doing a lot for me, I could see a lot of you liking it more than I am. And if you do, let me know in the comments. Did you love this thing? Did you hate this thing? And why? And what do you think I should review next? Anthony Fantano? The Needle Drop? Wire? Forever.